Hello everyone. This week we are making a snow seal, and as you can see he's an adorable little white seal laying on like a little iceberg floating in the ocean, and then you have some more mountains or icebergs in the distance, and of course the sky. You're going to need paper, pencil, Sharpie if you have it, or just regular markers, and some blues, grays, and blacks. It could be crayons or colored pencils. Okay, if you only have markers, you can try to make that work. But crayons and colored pencil are really best for this because if you look really closely, you can see we did just a teeny tiny bit of shading on the ice and on our cute little seal, even on our clouds. Okay, and this video is intended for first grade and kindergarten. So this is very basic beginning shading. So if you're older, you may want to look at one of my other videos, or just go ahead and draw it and then do more advanced shading if you know how to do that, okay? And so you need paper, Sharpie, pencil, blues, grays, and a black, okay? So get your stuff together and we'll get started. Okay, so for our first step, we're going to fold it in half, like you were making a book or a card. Make a nice crease, and then fold it in half again. I've done this unless you're watching your first video of mine. We do this so that we can see where the middle is, top to bottom and side to side. So then when I open it up, it helps me place things in the right place on the paper and make them the correct size. All right, now we're going to start off with our seal on the top left box. And we're going to, let's practice with our finger first. We're going to be making the head of the seal. And so it's going to be kind of like drawing an arch. It's going to go up, across, and down. Up, across, and down. And it's going to take up about that much room. So then, really soft, so if I make a mistake, I can erase it. I'm going to go up, across, and down. And that turned out pretty good. It looks almost like I have a little lump on his head. I'm going to try to kind of fix that, flatten it out just a bit. You don't want it too flat, but you don't want it to look like he's been hit on the head or anything. And I'm going to bring this down a little straighter. And that is my seal's head, or the beginning of it. And I'm going to go over it and make it a little darker. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it so all of our friends watching online can see it. All right, so there's his or her head. Now I'm moving to this section. I'm going to draw part of their body coming down, up, and then I'm also going to be doing one here. And I'm just kind of really lightly sketching it out. So it comes down and across. So I'm going to, right here, it's going to come down, up and over. And then over here, down, make sure it's together, down and across, like that. And notice it came up just a wee bit there. All right, now I'm over here, and this is where like the tail of our seal is going to be. So here, it's going to come out and down. Here, it's going to go up. So they're kind of going towards each other. I'm kind of bringing it in a little bit here. And then let's draw the end of our little seal's tail is going to be here. This is the tail. So I'm making kind of an arch. Kind of bring it to a point, bringing it in. Then down here, I'm going to make an upside down arch and bring it in, but with a little woohoo. Okay. And then I want to bring this up a little bit and in, and I actually need to fix this because this one is going to come in and meet that one right there. And then I let it go up. Same thing here. And so you're going to let them meet each other in the middle. And again, this is why we always draw light, so we can erase it if we need to. So then we have the basic shape of our seal's body. All right, now we're going to do some little seal legs. I'm going to make a line right here. It's going to come out and up and over the body just a little bit. It's overlapping. And then I have another one here. It's going to kind of come down a little bit more of a kind of an animal foot shape and back up. All right. Okay, now we need to erase this line here because that's part of his leg. So like this is the leg on this side, closest to us, and this is the leg over on the other side. Okay. Now I'm going to make some little toes for our seal. So I'm just kind of drawing some little lines here. Same thing here. So again, hopefully you drew light, so if you need to make any changes, you can. It looks so cute. And like when I Sharpie this and erase it, it will clean it up a lot. For kindergarten friends, you can outline it in marker. And then, I don't know if erasing is a very good idea because you don't want it to smear. All right, so now hopefully you're seeing his seal body. It's looking pretty good. We're going to come up here to this section again, and we're going to draw his little nose. We're going to do kind of an arch, and then under it, an arch going the other way, and then it kind of just connects like that. And that's his cute little nose. It's a little uneven, so I'm going to kind of even it out just a bit. Then we have his eyes. I'm going to do a curved line here, a curved line over here, and then I put an arch on each of them. Okay, this one I feel like it's a little too small. I'm going to try to kind of fix that. That's too big. Or maybe it's okay. I'm really bad about kind of nitpicking things on my own drawing. I don't do that with you guys, at least I try not to. But on my own, I just be really hard on myself sometimes. So don't do that to yourself. Learn from my mistakes and don't be too hard on yourself. All right, I'm going to do a little circle here and here. And then we need his little whiskers. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then we have his little mouth. His mouth on the top kind of almost comes to a little point, and it's kind of centered under the nose. And the bottom is a little curved, and then it kind of comes together. If you hear some loud noises, that's the after-school care kids. All right, oh, look how cute he is looking. Okay, now we're going to make like a little kind of iceberg behind him. It's going to be coming out and kind of do a little curve and like that. So watch me first, and then you can do it on yours. And remember, you can stop, pause, rewind, and watch it as many times as you need to. But right now I'm in this top left box. I'm going to make a line right here. It's kind of behind his head. Then I'm going to pick up on the other side. I just use my imagination like I was drawing. And it's going to come out. And it's going to go just a little past the halfway point. Okay? Then it's going to kind of do a little swirly. It kind of comes in towards that fold and over and then down. Okay? I want to make this a little more prominent, meaning it stands out a little more. And this comes in a little more. I'm sure yours is fine. And then here's the cool part. Right here, we're going to make a line that comes straight down. And that makes it look a little three-dimensional for his little chunk of ice that he's floating on. Now we need a horizon line. That's where the sky and ground touch. And it's just a teeny tiny bit lower than his head. So it's going across because this ice is floating in the water. Okay, so that's water, sky, ice, seal. Now up here, I'm on the top right box. I'm going to do some little kind of mountains off in the distance, or maybe this is like a big, huge iceberg. Probably the iceberg would be a more realistic thing. Or I guess it could be land. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. And then just a few clouds in the sky. We're going to do the kind that's flat on the bottom and like a cotton ball on top. But as always, feel free to change anything you want because it is your picture and you are the artist. All right. And then next we would outline. First grade, you would use Sharpie. Kindergarten, you probably use your colored markers. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Sharpie. I'm going to trace over everything that I just drew, and then I'm going to erase any pencil that's still peeking out from behind the Sharpie. Okay, so you can hit pause and do your Sharpie or markers, and then hit play again when you're finished. And I am going to fast forward to finish my Sharpie and erasing. Don't forget that. Okay, there you go. So he is Sharpie and he is erased. And I think he's absolutely adorable. I love him. I can't wait to see yours. All right, now for coloring. This picture is going to be all blues, grays, and black. So I just kind of went into my crayons and I just pulled out several different blues, a black, a couple of gray. This is actually silver. And so that way I have a variety to pick from. I recommend you do one blue for the water and a different kind of blue for the sky. For example, this one is kind of a blue-green. This one is a cadet blue. That's kind of a grayish blue. And then I have indigo and beautiful. I'm going to use beautiful for one of them. And then I think I'm going to use the blue-green for the other. Okay. I'm going to move these out of the way. So then at that point, one is more kind of teal and a little lighter. One is just blue and a little darker. So you have to decide what you want to be darker, your sky or your water. I think I would prefer for my water to be darker. So I'm going to take my crayon. I'm going to choose a direction. I'm going to cover the white. And I'm going to color all the water with my blue crayon. Again, this one is beautiful. I'm coloring side to side. You don't have to do side to side if you would rather do diagonally or up and down, but you don't want to scribble and color in too many directions. All right, so let me fast forward to finish coloring my water. You can hit pause and color your water and then come back. Okay, so there's my water, and I think it looks great. It looks so cold, too. So again, that was beautiful. It doesn't mean you have to do the same one. You can do any blue you want. And now I'm going to do the sky with this blue-green. And that way, it'll be a little bit different. And remember, when you're coloring, your job is to, 1, cover the white. 2, make it look good. And the way you accomplish 2 by making it look good is by coloring in one direction. Don't color diagonal and then up and down and side to side. I see that all day, every day. And I understand, when you're young, you're still learning all of that. But it's my job to teach you the correct way to color. So that's what I'm trying to show you. And that's something you'll take and use for the rest of your life. Maybe every time you color something, you'll think of me. Reality, you probably won't remember who taught you that. You'll just know you know it. All right, so I'm going to fast forward to finish coloring. You can hit pause and finish coloring your sky. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with our seal, our clouds, and our ice. Okay, so there's the water, there's the sky. For my sky, I used blue-green, but again, you don't have to do the same one. All right, now we're going to work on our seal and our ice and our clouds, okay? For my friend the seal, I am going to use, this is technically silver, but you could use gray. And we did this when we did our iceberg picture and when we did our snowman. Remember how we did the blue right around the edges? We're going to do that, but this time it's with gray. And it's just around the edge of my seal. And this is just to give him a little bit of form, which means he won't look quite so flat and two-dimensional. And I'm just kind of doing it where the Sharpie line is and just slightly adding it's almost like a gray line going around him. It's very subtle, which means you don't see it really well. It's just, you can almost miss it if you weren't paying attention. I'm going to go around him, and that just makes him look a little more interesting and a little less dull. When we get older, or you get older, I'm already old, I'll show you a little more with the shading, and we'll take it up another notch. You can kind of clean it up in little areas if you want. I could even add just a teeny tiny wee bit of the black. Don't add too much though. And it would just be closer to the line. But don't get carried away because he is a white seal. Snow seal. Hopefully that's a real thing. Again, I'm not a scientist. And this is just a little bit of shading to give him a little bit of form. Hopefully you can kind of see that. All right. For the clouds, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add just a little bit of gray towards the bottom. Nothing too complex. All right, and then for the ice, it's like when we did our snow picture and our igloo. I'm going to choose a blue. I'm going to do this cadet blue. And around the edge of this little iceberg, I'm going to add a little bit of that. Everywhere the Sharpie line is. And again, it's almost like shading. Okay, right here where it goes straight up and down, I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to add just a little bit up here on the mountains, maybe on one side. And again, it's almost like shading. This one's indigo. I'm going to add just a teeny tiny bit of that because I don't want it to overpower everything and take over. And then that's basically it. He's so precious. I can't wait to see yours. As always, send me a picture. You can email it to me or use the Google form where you found this video. Unless you found it on YouTube. If you found it on YouTube, you need to go to my website. And that's basically it. So thank you for coming. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you next week.